Something I wanted to talk about before it's out of circulation in the news is all this IRS controversy about the president and sicking the IRS on various conservative groups who were seeking tax-exempt status as charities. The 2 points I wanted to bring up. Number one is, let's say 3 points. Number one is that sucks. That's not good when a president does that. This, however, is ironic that the right is so outraged about this and relatively not upset about many of the other things that the president is doing wrong in terms of bombing people with drones, innocent people with drones. We had Rand Paul, of course, in his infamous filibuster. But other than that, the issue has received relatively no attention from the right, and the left has been relatively silent as well. So it's funny that this is the biggest point of outrage. Also, the secondary point with regards to this is that this is nothing new. Obama learned it by watching his predecessors, so to speak. We see that this has happened with PETA, it's happened with Greenpeace, it's happened with just a number of very well-known organizations. The NAACP it's happened with, and only now that it's groups that are basically Tea Party fronts that do we see the right getting outraged about it. I guess the tertiary point that I'd like to make is that there is something a little bit shady going on there. Now, it may be legal. In fact, it is legal. But the IRS does apparently allow for groups with minimal qualifications as aid groups to get tax-exempt status as charities when they're not really acting in that capacity. We know groups that are talking about, even in their name, Patriot this and that, and Tea Party, and so on. These aren't aid organizations. These are political organizations. Now, they are allowed to indulge in politics as aid organizations, but that can't be their primary purpose. I don't think it's that outrageous in this case. This is one case where I will say a little bit more scrutiny might make sense. Now, you know, what the president or what the IRS, what they were doing, how they were targeting this, this one class of groups in particular, I will agree that that's unfair. However, with that said, there's got to be some sort of balance. We know that PETA, Greenpeace, NAACP, there are things that they're doing which are charitable in nature. I'm not saying I agree with everything that each of those groups, has done or is doing or will do. Far from it in the case of PETA. However, even there, I think they have a more compelling case than a Tea Party group for doing charitable works. But maybe I'm wrong, and if that's the case, then maybe the IRS asking for some additional information isn't that big of a deal. However, if it's still not approved or denied after several years, as in the case of some of these Tea Party groups, I can see a legitimate gripe there. So anyway, that's just to point out that fine, this is abusive, this is wrong on behalf of the IRS and the White House even. But shouldn't it be considered wrong across the board, not just wrong when the target is conservative groups seeking tax-exempt status? Shouldn't it be wrong when it's the NAACP, PETA, Greenpeace, all these groups which were unfairly targeted and audited under Republican administrations?